I work with the Arkansas Arts Council. I work with Arkansas Learning Through the Arts, which is based here in Hot Springs, and they have gotten me into many, many schools here across the state. I'm the host of Wednesday Night Poetry, which is the longest running consecutive weekly open mic series in the entire country. We've never missed a single week of poetry in 1,668 weeks in a row. And by the time you air this, it'll be more. And I also am a board member of Hot Springs Area Cultural Alliance, which amplifies and celebrates arts in and around Hot Springs. I didn't have an easy childhood, and so I just started scribbling. I found an empty notebook and I just started scribbling, writing my thoughts down. And that's how it started. I had a friend all of a sudden. I wasn't alone all of a sudden. When I got out of college, I was like, well, how do I become a poet? What do I do now? And so I got my emergency teacher certification, and I went right into teaching high school. I taught 9th and 10th grade English back in the same school district that I grew up in. And I won Teacher of the Year. And then I won Teacher of the Year out of the whole school district. And then I kind of got to the top of that mountain and I put my flag up there, and then I quit because there was still this burning inside me that I wanted to be a poet. I didn't know how, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that poetry was still the major thing in my life. So if I had to do the math, thinking about the kids that I taught in Houston as a high school English teacher, and then coming here to Arkansas and working with the Arkansas Arts Council and Arkansas Learning Through the Arts, I would probably say I've brought poetry to maybe 15,000 to 20,000 kids over the last 20 years. Wow, I've never had to do that math before. I'm really lucky.
How do you teach poetry? You read it out loud to a room filled with children, as though a fire lives in your gut, as though magic lives in your heart and you only want to put it in their cupped together hands. You hold a magnifying glass up to meaning, dig around and show them all that lies beneath until they want to find it themselves, until they are the instigators of discovery.
And so what I tell students all around Arkansas is that poetry is a safe place for your feelings. That's my mantra. Poetry is a safe place for your feelings. And I've had some really heartbreakingly beautiful poetry written by 10-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 13-year-olds about things that you would wish would never happen to kids that age. So I offer a lot of my poems to marginalized voices because I too am a marginalized voice. I am a brown queer woman living in Arkansas. I am a queer woman of color living in America. And so I know from personal experience what it's like to be on the outside. I've been on the outside my whole life. And so now I write for other outsiders, for people that don't really have a voice. And here in Hot Springs, it's actually the home of Wednesday Night Poetry. When I started writing again, I went to my first open mic here and I was just hooked. So I've been going ever since. I'm now the host of it. It was started by Bud Kenny, February 1st, 1989.
Her name into a poem and thank her always for being real.
So when the pandemic hit in March of 2020, I didn't want to break our streak. You know, we're the longest running streak in America. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I asked our poets, our local poets, to just send me a little video clip of them reading a poem. And so I made a Facebook post at the same time that we were supposed to have Wednesday Night Poetry at 6:30 on that first Wednesday. And I uploaded all the videos into one post and I said, welcome to Wednesday Night Poetry. We're having it here online now until we can be safe again. Every week, we consistently met on Wednesday and it was open to anybody, poets all over the country, and we would meet and we would kind of process what was going on. So it's kind of like I moved my classroom to the adults. You know, I couldn't be in the classroom with the kids anymore. So I became the teacher, the leader of the poetry community for the poets.
Poetry is yours forever. Children are much deeper than we give them credit for. Their eyes still open to the higher worlds, their spirits still in tune with intuition and grace. And in this room of poetry, in this safe carved out space, lay a welcome mat that starts with a smile and open a door to everything all at once.